I have the perfect word track. I can teach you how to handle objections. I can make you a millionaire. Follow me, worship me. Objections are the very thing that can strike fear and terror in the hearts of sales professionals. And it's understandable why. When you get an objection, it feels like a wall has just been put in front of you and your objective of making more money or helping people solve their problem. Mostly the money. And the problem is most sales trainers, they treat every objection the same. They act like one word track can solve one objection in any context, and that's just wrong. We have to ask ourselves the context of the objection. Am I getting this objection on a cold call? Am I getting this objection when I responded to a lead that filled out a form? Am I meeting with this person in person? Am I chatting on DM? I would handle each of those objections differently. In today's video, we're gonna break down how to handle objections according to their context. Let's go. So when it comes to the context of objections, we have to take two things into consideration. One, the medium of communication. Is this a phone call? Is this an email? Is this a DM? Is this an in-person meeting? And two, we have to evaluate at what phase of the sale am I getting the objection? Am I getting that objection at the front of the sale or at the bottom of the sale? In every sale, there is an opener, a discovery, a pitch, and a close. And general rule of thumb is you will usually get objections in one or two places. Usually it'll be when you first make your introduction and your opener, when you introduce yourself on a phone call, or you knock on a door and they open the door, or you call a warm lead, or even if you send a DM, you'll generally get met with what I call resistance.
God damn it! Viva la revolution!
Resistance is that thing inside all of us that when we go to the store and someone asks us if they can help us, we always say, no, I'm good. Even if we have no idea where the chocolate milk is, we will still tell that person, I'm good, I don't need any help. This is called resistance. It's really not even an objection. It's really just a knee-jerk reaction that people have when you call them. And so the way I handle objections at the front end of the call is to always pivot. I never take the objection on hand, and I always belittle whatever resistance I'm getting from them. What does that look like? You're on the phone with someone, you just introduce yourself, hey, my name is Robert, I'm a licensed insurance agent with the state of Oregon, and they might say something like, now's not a good time. Okay, pause. One thing I could do is I can believe them and try to set another appointment, but I like to ask this question. Hey, yeah, Bill, that's exactly what I'm calling. Are you saying now is not a good time because I caught you in the middle of something? Or are you not sure that it's important right now to pursue life insurance, right? I completely kind of am dealing with this objection. I'm sidestepping it. I'm just trying to clarify and isolate it to make sure I understand what the true objection is, right? They might say, and if they say I caught them at a bad time, I'm not going to force someone to talk if it's truly a bad time. If they're like, hey, yeah, I'm in the middle of the hospital, my son just got a broken leg, I'm not continuing the conversation. If they're like, yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of some paperwork, I'm gonna push that forward and say, you know, Bill, again, this only takes 1 minute. I have to verify if it's even worth calling you back. You may not even need this. Let me ask you, do you currently have a life insurance policy? And boom, I'm right back into discovery. I'm not even messing with that objection. I've just completely pivoted from it and made it not meaningful. Because it's not, it's resistance. If I call someone, they go, yeah, I can't afford it, I just say, yeah, that's exactly why I'm calling. I actually specialize in helping people who are on fixed incomes get policies. If someone says, I'm not interested, I'll be very transparent with you. This is the toughest one to get through because generally speaking, when they say I'm not interested, especially if it's B2C, they're already on the way to hanging up the phone by the time you even give your rebuttal or your pivot. But I have found that this works. Hey, you know, Bill, are you not interested because you don't think it'll be affordable, or because you just don't understand it because no one explained it to you? Hey, another way I've handled it is if I'm talking to B2B clients, I'll say, listen, I totally get it. And honestly, most people have that knee-jerk reaction. But I've helped a lot of customers save XYZ dollars and improve ABC result. Now, if I can get you the same results, wouldn't it be worth 5 minutes of your time? Right? That's how I handle it. In that situation, B2B, I do take it head on. But I handle those very differently. Now, when we get to the end phase of a call, we need to make sure we are always isolating objections. If someone says, I'm too busy, at the end of my call, that is after I've made my introduction, I've done my discovery, and I've pitched my product. I've already built up urgency. I've already explained how our product is the perfect solution to them, okay? And they tell me they're busy. Here is something I want you to consider. If we've gone through all of those phases, and they've probably sat with us for 30 to 45 minutes right then and there. So they were able to reserve the time to talk to you on the phone, but they can't do your program, or they can't sign an application for insurance, or they don't have any extra time to do whatever. That's not real.
Stop lying!
They just gave you an hour of their time. They have the time. There's something else going on. There's another objection, and normally it's price. Like, knowing how to handle price objections is the most important thing for anyone, right? Justifying your price. Because generally speaking, most people are not going to come out and tell you it's too expensive. People don't want to be known for being cheap. So when someone says something at the end of the call like, I'm too busy, I'm going to isolate that and take that off of the table. I'll say something along the lines of, okay, I understand. We've all got stuff going on. Put that aside for a minute though. Based on everything we've discussed, do you feel like this program could work for you? And if they're going to either respond one of two ways. They're going to say yes or maybe. And if they say no, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do.
No. Wait. Wait.
If you did not do a good enough job in discovery, uncovering their needs and pain points, and pitching your product correctly to prove that it is the perfect solution for their pain and their needs, you're done. You're not moving forward. If they say yes, we can ask, okay, why? Why do you feel like this would work for you? And then they'll tell you why. And then you can say, okay, Bill, we've dedicated just now an hour of time to have this very conversation. You took the time to sacrifice to have this conversation. Is it worth taking more time out of your day and rearranging your schedule a little bit, and even becoming a little bit uncomfortable to get the results that you just mentioned? And they're like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that, right? Now, if someone says something about price, right, I'm going to ask the same question. Hey, Bill, pricing aside for a minute, do you feel that this program would work for you? And now what they're going to say is either yes or maybe, right? Now, what happens if they do say maybe? Well, maybe they're not really being upfront with you. You got to dig a little bit deeper, okay? Maybe, maybe not. That's when I do the Alex Hormozi on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, so you say maybe. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to you to resolve this specific issue? And whatever number they say, I don't care what it is. They say 2, they say 3, they say 7, they say 10. You ask, why not lower? You said 8. Why not a 2? Why not a 3? Well, because you guys have da 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 da. Again, you're getting them always to pitch themselves. If we're continuing on the theme of price, after they tell me the reason why they're not a lower number, I will use that then to leverage. And I'll ask the question. It sounds to me like you're saying this program would work. It's just the pricing issue is the only thing that's holding us back. And they're going to say, yeah. I'm going to say, okay, is there anything else that would hold you back aside from price? They might, if they say anything other than no in this circumstance, you got to dig in and figure out what it is. It could be a wife objection. It could be they're just scared to do it, which honestly a lot of people are scared to move forward with paying anything. Because humans have this funny thing. They don't like giving up their money that easily.
Because you're greedy, schemy, and selfish.
They'll buy things that are bad for them. They'll buy cigarettes and candy from the gas station and fast food. But when something can actually improve their life, for some reason, people just get very stringent with their budget. That's what you have to go in and give them perspectives. After we kind of have isolated the objection, it truly is a price objection, then we have to move on and we have to either educate them, motivate them, or negotiate with them. Okay? So educating. So in this price circumstance, if your program offers payment plans, it's time now to educate them on the payment plan. You can say, listen, Bill, I understand pricing is important. Okay? If we could put together some kind of payment plan, would that help you get XYZ results? So instead of giving me the $10,000 up front, we have programs that you can pay off month to month, no interest involved. Was that something that would benefit you? Yeah, that would benefit me. And the great thing about this program, Bill, is that we are expecting you, and I'm going to work with you to make XYZ amount of dollars. So you might even be able to pay off the whole thing in the next 3 months when you start seeing the results. See, I'm educating him about the program, I'm educating him about his options, and I'm letting him know we do offer a payment plan. That is not the same thing as negotiating. I want to make that clear. Offering terms, but you're not negotiating terms. There's a big difference. The next step might be we have to inspire him. You know, Bill's still like, oh, payment plan, but I just don't know. That's when we have to use whatever we've learned about the pain and discovery to really motivate them to change. You know, Bill, you mentioned that if you don't get a handle on your weight, you're not going to be able to play with your kids. And you mentioned how important it is for you to walk your daughter down the aisle. Do you want someone else to walk your daughter down the aisle? So how important is it to you to really solve this problem? Bill, you mentioned that your wife doesn't have an income and you guys have a mortgage. It's $2,000 a month. And you've got built up $50,000 worth of equity. Do you really want that $50,000 to go to the bank rather than your wife? Hey, Tom, you talked about how you guys aren't performing the way you need to perform. Your sales reps aren't performing the way you want. We've shown you the results of how our program has helped people get 25% growth in the revenue for the company. What happens if nothing changes? See, what I'm doing is I'm using their fear and I'm using their pain now to really build out a motivation and an urgency to move forward. And lastly, we might negotiate.
We don't negotiate with terrorists.
If it really comes down to, yeah, but it's still too expensive, that's when I'll pull out the negotiation. Okay, Bill, here's what I can do. I can get you the fitness program and I can get you the app, but what we will do is we'll hold back on the supplements for now. Instead of ordering 6-month supply of supplements, we'll start with a 2-month supply. That should reduce your charges by $400. Does that work? Whenever we're negotiating, it's very important that we take something away. We don't just offer a discount. We take something off the table because that puts it in perspective for them. Do they really want to do this without the supplements? Hey, Bill, you know what we'll do? Instead of putting on some of these riders, we got a waiver of premium rider. We've got this. I can lower it to here. Instead of a face amount that's $200,000, it can be $150,000, and now you're paying XYZ. Does that work for you? Right? And then after you have educated, inspired, and negotiated, if they're still giving you objections, it might be time to move on. Reality is you can't close them all. Reality is there's no magic bullet. There's no number of words or combination of words that's going to be so perfect it's going to close every single deal. You have to know when you're wasting your time. You've done everything you can at this point. It's time to move on. There is a point in objections where I will walk away. And sometimes by walking away, they come back. But what I never do is I never close the door. This is important. A lot of people have forgotten this concept in sales. A lot of people have forgotten the concept of a pipeline. To have deals in a pipeline that are just sitting there. And the way you close deals that you've walked away from is keeping an open door to follow up. So what I always do with people who I couldn't close on one day is I keep providing value. If I sell sales coaching, I'll keep sending them invites to free webinars. I'll keep sharing with them my YouTube content, my Instagram content, keep them in my atmosphere. Okay, so we spent a lot of time on talking about the phases. What about the mediums? I'm gonna be honest with you, what I just shared, all of that applies to pretty much every medium of communication except DMs. If you're knocking on the door, you can use the same system of sidestepping resistance. If you're in person, you can use the same system of isolating objections, educating, motivating, negotiating. All of that works in any medium, no matter what the leads are, no matter what medium of communication you're using. Except DM and email. The reality is, if you're DMing someone, it's such a low barrier for resistance because it's so optional that people don't feel like they're put under the gun. But it also doesn't have the same level of like urgency, firepower that you're going to have if you're talking to someone over the phone or in person or over a Zoom call. It just doesn't. And so you have to understand the difference between cooking a steak and cooking a pot roast. A steak, man, you throw it on the griddle, you char it up, you give it some color, and then you throw it in for 10, 20 minutes or whatever, and it's done, right? It's a very fast way to cook a meal. A pot roast, man, you put that thing in the slow cooker and you let that thing ride. You let that thing ride for hours, 6 hours, 10 hours. If you're making brisket, it sometimes goes up to 16 hours of smoking. It takes time to cook those kind of deals. And if you're DMing someone, you gotta understand that it's gonna take time. You're not there necessarily to close a deal over DMs. It is possible. I don't see that happening very often in B2B, but in B2C or high ticket sales, there are people who close thousands of dollars by DM. But what happens is if you are too aggressive to close on DM, you can lose people and turn them off, and they can ignore you. And again, you don't have as much attention. So for me, if I'm DMing people, I'm very softly closing them. I'm very softly having the conversation. It's not a hard line, I'm trying to close you now. It's much more like superficial, trying to keep a relationship. Because DMing is a great way to build your pipeline. It's a great way to get people in your stratosphere, offer them free content, keep offering them value. But if you come to these objections in DMing, again, same thing kind of works. Someone's resistant. They say, I don't have time. If you come up to objections and DM it, if someone tells you, hey, I really just don't have time, it's really just not a good time, you got to realize the commitment that they're giving you over DM, it's a 2-second commitment. It's literally, boom, response, right? It's not like they're sitting with you for an hour talking to you about their issues and hearing out your pitch. It's very low commitment, once again, to be redundant. I'm always very redundant. So I would be much more careful about turning this person off than I would be in a cold call or a face-to-face situation. I'd be much more open to building our relationship over DMs, again, providing value, whether that's information, whether that's insights, whether that's inviting them to free webinars, inviting them to free trainings, sending them YouTube videos, sending them products, or making very small offers. Like, hey, man, just want to let you know I just wrote my book, and here's a link to Amazon. If you want to support me, buy it. It's $20. Leave a review. I really would appreciate it. It would help my business, right? And by getting them to commit to these smaller offers, $20, $30, $50, $100, then you can really start, they're starting to grow in their relationship with you. And if you're providing free value, you're building a lot of reciprocity, and you're going to be more likely to close them. But if you are just hammering them via DM, that's a mistake. When you get objections, again, it's not a loud objection. It's not something that you have to respect as much. You can check in with them frequently and keep them in your pipeline. And the cool thing about DMs is you can have this with literally hundreds of people. You can be cold DMing or warm DMing hundreds of people through social media or even text message if they have signed off and agreed to be text, because there are TCPA laws, don't get sued. But you can have these conversations that last longer, and checking in and sending memes and sending shorts and building a friendship and building a relationship. And that can avalanche eventually into multiple deals being closed all at once. So with DMing, you got to make sure, again, you're more focused on building the relationship and keeping that person in your proximity than so much trying to close over a hard DM. That would be my recommendation for that. So there you have it. Those are how you handle objections given the context. If this is a fronted objection, meaning it's an objection you get right as they answer the phone or right in the first 20 seconds of your conversation, you want to sidestep and attack. You want to treat that objection like it's not real, because it's not. and move forward with your conversation and move forward with your pitch and move forward into your discovery. If you're getting an objection at the end of the call, that's when you need to isolate the objection, make sure it's real, educate them on their options, motivate them if needed, and negotiate if all else fails. And then just walk away and keep following up. That's it for today, guys. Until next time, keep selling.